The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag TNC Now.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms our community that sees all things new. I'm Alpha Sanford and I'm streaming live from Boston, Massachusetts. Good morning, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon. Mabuhay to all of you who are viewing with us today. Welcome to Once a Teacher, Always a Teacher, Season 2, Episode 4. Hi again, everybody. It's Alpha Sanford. I'm so glad that you're here with us this morning or tonight, wherever you are in this part of the world. If you are with us, please put in your comment, your name, say hi to us, your location. And if there is a parent, a caregiver, or a guardian, or somebody who's taking care of infants, toddlers, preschoolers, or simply raising a child or children, please tag them right now, because for today's show, we will be talking with an expert who will be sharing with us her thoughts on raising respectful, or we will be talking about respectful parenting, and she will be teaching us how to raise children with patience and resilience, which is exactly what we need today in raising our children. Before we move on, here in Massachusetts, it's a beautiful Saturday morning. Typically, on a summer morning like this, I would be in the farmer's market getting my fruits and my veggies and my eggs. But today, I will go there later. I hope I'll be able to still have some fresh veggies and vegetable over there. So anyhow, today, I am very thankful, even though I know that you may be doing something else. You opted to join us, so thank you. All right, to our teachers, I know most of you are probably home enjoying the summer, at least the teachers here in the U.S., right? And I know in the Philippines, there are still some schools that are still ongoing. And if you are still in school and you're joining us today, especially if you are an early childhood educator, please say hi in the comment section. And hopefully later I'll be able to look back and do a shout out to all of you. I know you've been working so hard this year. Our educators here in the US, they've worked so hard the entire year. So I want to say thank you to all the effort that you have done. What an amazing and wonderful year, and another year for all of you to share your wisdom, your knowledge, and all the things that you have taught to our students or to your students. Um, 2021 to 2022 school year was a journey, and now it's behind us, right? Now it's summertime, and I hope you are enjoying it. All right, with that said, let's see. I'm going to now introduce to you our guest for today. All right, so our topic today is really about respectful parenting. If you have not heard of that, we'll be learning from our guest today. Also, throughout this conversation, we'll be talking to her in terms of expanding the access of appropriately educating infants, toddlers, and preschoolers, especially in the Philippines. And we will also hear from her what is she doing in really reaching out to all the families out there who may not have this knowledge about raising children with resilience and patience. So, without further much ado, let me introduce to you our guest today. So, Teacher Tanya Velasco is a family life and child development specialist. She graduated with a degree in family life and child development from the University of the Philippines in Diliman. Hello, Teacher Tanya, uh, fellow Isko ng Bayan, and received her master's degree in leadership and education from Pacific Oaks College in Pasadena, California. As an early childhood educator, Teacher Tanya has worked in the preschool for 10 years. So she's been in this area of education for a while. She has worked both in the Philippines and here in the US, especially in California. All right. When she was in California, she was given the opportunity to work in different infant and toddler preschools. She was also the recipient of the California Director Mentor Program, in which she gained more training on preschool administration. In the Philippines, she worked as a toddler teacher at the University of the Philippines Child Development Center and served as program consultants to preschools. Teacher Tanya also taught college students, particularly at the University of the Philippines in Diliman and at the Miriam College for 6 years. So, Teacher Tanya is really, really passionate about respectful parenting. All right, if you have not done your hashtag, our hashtag is really about hashtag respectful parenting. She's currently working on her certification in becoming an infant and toddler specialist. And as an infant and toddler practitioner, Teacher Tanya handles parent infant toddler classes and at the same time educates parents about respectful parenting through seminar. With that said, why don't we bring in Teacher Tanya? Teacher Tanya, come on in.
Good morning, Teacher Alpha, and good evening to everyone here in the Philippines and other parts of Asia.
Hi, Teacher
And
Tanya. Thanks for coming in.
of course,
All right.
anytime.
Yeah, thank you. You have done such an amazing job in the field of early childhood education. That's amazing. So, for our viewers, tell us what have you been up to with your family and, with your expertise in this area. And especially after all that has happened in the past 2 years, how are your kids?
Um, Yeah, thank you for asking. That's a very thoughtful question. I'd like to say hi to my children. They're still up right now watching. So hi to Ellie, Julia. Our son Nathan is asleep already. Hi. Well, for the past 2 years, as other Filipino parents would also agree with me, that we've been on lockdown for a very long time already. So it's really a challenge as a parent to to just be at home, be with
Mhm.
your kids. And for those who are working, I have a lot of working moms na friends. It's really a challenge. But it was also a time for me as a parent to, to really reflect and really savor my time with my children. I realized during the pandemic that they just grew up so fast.
That's right.
And it was a reminder for me that, because we're on lockdown, we're just at home, so we were not really rushing. It was really enjoying our
Mm,
day-to-day activities together. Um, like, even if it's just the same old thing that we do, wake up, eat, you find joy in the small things. And it was a reminder for me that as a parent, you just need to be contented and to be grateful for the small things you get to experience with your children. So that's what I've been learning as a parent for the past 2 years.
oh, I love it. Yes, absolutely. The feeling of joy around our children, or in my case, I only have one child. My husband and I only have a daughter. So we only have a daughter. So really, the feeling of seeing her grow and the joy of seeing her is priceless. So I love how you said it, even though, little things, just being around them, but it's so important, right? Yeah. Is that respectful parenting, Teacher Tanya?
Yeah, I would like to really thank my mentors who introduced me to respectful parenting.
Mm-hmm.
It's an approach that allows you to really become more mindful of your engagement with your children. It's seeing them as a unique individual and seeing that they are a unique person. They are worth respecting. So let's say I have 3 children of different ages. So that means 3 different unique individuals with different preferences and I don't know, different
Personality.
challenges and
Yeah.
personalities as well. And because of that respectful parenting approach, I really learned to, to respect their uniqueness, to
Mm-hmm.
to see them as a blessing from the Lord, but at the same time, with my day to day engagement with them, it's really a reminder that um, the way I talk to them, the
Mm-hmm.
way I communicate with them is so important. My presence, one of the big principles of respectful parenting is really authenticity. It's expressing to your children what you really feel, and that's respecting and also acknowledging what they feel as a
Mm-hmm.
person. So it's not telling them you should not feel this way, you should not be not okay. So authenticity is part of that, and as a parent they know, and I'm very transparent to them that when I'm very tired I tell them. When I've had a very long day, they see it on my face. It's not like I put a happy face and say pagod na ako pero nakasmile ako, 'di ba? That's a mixed message.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's not that I tell them everything. I just tell them, "Mommy is so tired. I had a long day. Can you please help me?" So
Mm.
that's part of respectful parenting. It's also in their part also when they tell me, "Mama, I'm not ready yet." So
Mm.
as a parent, I step back and say, "Okay, maybe I'll give you 10 more minutes."
Mm-hmm.
So that before I nag you and say, "Pack away, put back all your things, ang kalat-kalat sa bahay." And when I ask them, "Are you ready to pack away? Do you want me to give you a bit more time?" And that's also
Mm-hmm.
respecting that they have their own timing as well. So
Mm-hmm.
those are just the day-to-day activities and challenges that we do at home and how we apply that approach.
Yeah, I love how you just shared to our viewers that you're acknowledging the boundaries of yourself and also the boundaries of your children. And also being honest in terms of your feelings, because as a parent yourself, there's time that we need to be honest to them and say, look, I'm tired for now. Can we just do this one in a few minutes or something like that? And I think in the Filipino culture, somehow there is this prevailing expectation or even stigma that if you are a parent, you're being put on a pedestal, right? And then everything that you have to say is like just being followed by your children. But after hearing from you, respectful parenting is really about mindful parenting, which I love, right? Was there a moment in your life as a parent when you realized this concept and it's really like working? Can you tell us about that?
When I was a first time mom to Ellie, that was 8 years ago. Because I'm a teacher, you know this very well, Teacher Alpha, that we're trained to create a curriculum. We should have this set milestones, checklists, diba? We
Mhm,
assess
yes.
we assess our students. So the way I look at Ellie, I saw her as more of my student. Like, I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
make her my guinea pig. I'm gonna make her this. I'm gonna try this. All the theories I've learned in college.
Yeah.
I was so excited for that. But I realized when I learned about this parenting approach, when I was talking to my mentor in my masteral, she said, you know, Tanya, you have to throw away your curriculum. You know, I did a 1 year curriculum for Ellie. It was a
Mm.
lesson plan that I did for her. And when I showed it to my mentor, I said, hey, look, I made a curriculum for my daughter. And you know what she told me? Throw that away. You don't need that. And I said, what? I worked hard for it. This was my training. And she said, you know, what you just need to do is to observe more, do less, and enjoy most. I'll say it again. Observe more, do less, and enjoy most. And that's what the respectful parenting approach is all about. You observe your child, you enjoy your child as they grow, and you don't need to put them in a set curriculum because that's not how children should be, right?
Right.
So that's how it started for me. It was throwing away what I know and seeing my daughter as my I was a student. It was the other way around. I was learning from my student and from my daughter that happened to be Ellie.
That's wonderful. Wow. So all the curriculum that you did for her gone because in raising children, yeah, we just need to observe, uh, do less, you said, and enjoy the most. That's true. That's true naman, di ba? There's no set curriculum or textbook that we have to follow as parents so that we will be able to raise good children or at least hope someday that they'll be good citizens, right? Pero now that we're talking about some sort of like, evaluation as a parent, is there ever a time when you say, oh, this is really working? Is there a gauge of measurement on being a good and respectful parent?
Yeah, you know, this pandemic was an assurance for me that this approach was working or is
Mhm.
working for my children. Because when you're on lockdown, especially in the Philippines, we had very strict guidelines. Bawal lumabas, sa bahay
Yeah.
lang kayo, ganyan. We even had only one adult can go out of the house. Anyway, so, and their school was closed, right? School was
Yes.
closed.
Yeah.
And I remember telling my children, we don't have school. You plan your schedule, just play. Find things in the house that you can play with. And one of the things that I learned from the respectful parenting approach, which is pioneered by Magda Gerber, and I'll say it again, it's about RIE, it's Resources for Infant Educator. You can search that online, and it's a worldwide organization. And I learned that you have to trust your children. And
Hmm.
you have to trust that your children can learn on their own. That's part of it. As an infant always learns. So as they grow up, when they are motivated to learn, they will find ways to engage themselves. So that's why earlier on, when they were children, we didn't really expose them to gadgets when they were infants until
Mhm.
about 2 years old.
Mhm.
And I saw the benefits now that we were in the pandemic, that I would see them playing in the garden outside. I would find them in the playroom, just finding anything that they can play with and engaging themselves. So that's one of the benefit. Also, when we eat outside, we don't have gadgets with us.
Mhm.
um, so some parents would look at, I remember seeing some parents look at us in a restaurant, and parang they were thinking, bigyan mo na lang ng cellphone, mas madali naman eh, 'di ba? Para
Mhm.
makakain ka din. But
Mhm.
my husband and I, earlier on, we knew that if we can delay it, we will delay it. And that's what we learned from the respectful parenting approach, that our children can engage themselves
Yes.
intrinsically. We don't have to trust a gadget, or find something like our cell phone so that they can keep themselves amused. They will learn how to wait if we give them the opportunity to wait. So you would see our children, using the placemat in the in the restaurant, drawing on it, doodling on it. Sometimes they'll just talk to each other, which are
Mm.
really important values that I see in some families. Or kanya-kanya naman talaga eh. Pero I think the conversation during meal times are very important. And so those are just the benefits that we are reaping right now, that they're in the elementary years already. So
Oh,
there.
that's great. I couldn't agree more with what you said, Teacher Tanya. That's pretty amazing. Now, here's a question for you. You talk about the use of gadgets, cell phones, iPads, iPhones, smartphones, whatever it's out there, right, in terms of electronic gadgets. Is there a specific recommendation in terms of when children or what age should children access these gadgets for recreational purposes?
Um, the American Academy of Pediatrics, or AAP, if you Google them, and they have this whole journal on the use of gadgets, they would say that they recommend it 18 months and above. 18 months, it's probably not any show that you see online. It should be a
Mm-hmm.
live video. So maybe a FaceTime would
Mm,
be okay. A Viber, it's really live chatting with someone. And I know
like
this
this.
pandemic, yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of families that I know of, because the infants have not seen their grandparents, right? They were
Mhm.
born through the pandemic. That happened to my son. He hasn't seen other relatives, so we use the screen so that they can be introduced to each other. That's a positive use of the gadgets. We also recommend slow moving shows, not the ones that you see, that are fast moving. So
Wow.
maybe a slow National Geographic video, or also something that's meaningful, maybe a video of the infant himself,
Hmm.
like what they do to Nathan when he was 18 months. Nathan, this is what we did today, remember? These were the relatives you saw today. So it's meaningful for him. So those are some recommendations. And if you can delay it some more. I think we the parents are the ones that really should be the one controlling the when, kasi tayo naman nagbibigay ng gadgets, right? So ako, my stand on that, if you can delay it, and you don't expose them yet, then do that. But of course, if you start exposing them, you need to be able to um, evaluate first the shows that you will show your children.
Hmm.
Not all educational shows are actually educational, right? So
Hmm.
um, so there.
That's great. Now, let's just say, for example, I'm a parent who has already let my children access these gadgets as early as 1 month old. I've seen some parents also, and it's you're feeling like it's too late. What do you think could they do to take back their power and really let their children grow intrinsically and enjoy life outside of the gadgets, what would they do, or what should they do?
I think it's very important that you set a routine. Having a schedule will really help an infant. And
Mm-hmm.
my mentor Ruth Ann Hammond, she's an infant and toddler associate with RIE, or Resources for Infant Educator. She would always tell me, Tanya, babies condition so well. So if
Mm-hmm.
we set them up in an environment that is very, we call it cognitively challenging, emotionally nurturing, then your infant will just really be conditioned. So, what do I tell the parent? You wean off the infant from the gadget slowly.
Right.
Communicate with your infant why you are doing this. It's not true that they don't understand. They do understand. And when they see that you're very tentative, they
Mm-hmm.
will not they will not really cooperate with you. If mommy would say, "Oh, no gadget," but daddy will say, "Okay, let's give him 5 more minutes." So he looks to the parent that is really more tentative, and so he will not really cooperate. So both parents or whoever caregiver is taking care of him, all of the family members should be consistent
Mm-hmm.
in really implementing this kind of routine. So I would say look for play objects that are appropriate for an infant. And you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to buy. You can just go to your kitchen and look for these play objects, balls, kitchen basin that you use for baking are really good in toys or play objects for infants. Their hands for a 1 month old. We say that hands are the first toys, so
Mm-hmm.
let him explore his hands. You don't have to put them in mittens. Yung lampin, yung sa Filipino, lampin, or how do you call that? The burp bib, that's already a toy for an infant. So you need to be able to provide developmentally appropriate toys so that your infant will find something to explore with. Your face, your presence is really one of the best toys, your face. So it means you need to communicate with your baby. You don't have to commit. You don't have to be always on your phone. Your physical presence and your emotional presence would really mean so much for an infant. So that's what I'm gonna suggest. Have a routine. Maybe in the morning it's feeding time, and then there's play time, and then there's nap time. So that's what you do over and over again, and you'll be surprised that your infant will really cooperate. But it starts with that mindset that, hey, we will do this together and let's be consistent.
Oh, I love it. It made me reflect in terms of how my daughter was when she was younger. So she would take actually, which one? Like the tip of my hair, and she would feel as if the tip of my hair is so stiff, and she would like tap my hair onto her face until she feels relaxed, and she'd keep on doing it. And thinking about what you mentioned, your face as a parent, or any part of your face that your children can touch, could be something that could be enjoyable to them. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's pretty powerful. um, Earlier, Teacher Tanya, you mentioned about letting our children trust themselves, or letting go of letting them be able to, intrinsically grow, and trusting them to grow. So earlier, I had a thought, right? Um, Thinking about in the Philippine context, some parents may be saying, uh, what if I don't trust my child because my child does not have the capacity to think for themselves, right? What should I do? Is there a specific thing that I need to know so that I could build this trust that I have for my child? So I'm thinking, let's just say a certain child fell down from a table. And then do I just trust my child to, you know, get back up and do something else? What are your thoughts?
Um, I'm gonna plug my seminar.
Yes,
I'm gonna
please
tell the
do.
parents. My answer to that is
Of course. Okay.
attend my respectful beginning seminar, so that I can it's really an awareness. It doesn't it you don't it's something that I also learned through time,
Uh-huh.
that it's really hard to parent children, because you're coming from a very traditional parenting background, right?
Mhm.
Especially in the Philippines, having had a parent infant program for almost 4 years. I've seen different kinds of parents, worked with different kinds of parents, but the common value is that we were raised in a traditional parenting approach. So
Right.
we always bring that with us, and transfer that kind of value to our children. And it's not something um, to be sorry about. It's just that that's how we were brought up.
Mhm.
So I would plug my seminar and, and
Please
encourage you
do.
to attend. It's entitled Respectful Beginnings, because I talk about principles of what are the 5 things that babies really need. And if you know these 5 things that babies need, you will understand your role as a parent.
Mhm.
You play a very important role in the life of your child. The 0 to 3 years are very important. It's really the foundational years. It's the earliest years, and so you play a very important role. Your role is not just to change a diaper or
Mhm.
to feed your baby. It's more than that. It's really being a constant caregiver in the life of your child. So, um, if you want to know more about it, how you can learn to trust your child, I invite you to attend my seminar, because it will really change the way you will see your child and understand your role as a parent. So that's my answer to that.
Oh, I love it. And if we have at least 2 hours, I was going to say, what else can they learn from respectful beginnings, right? But anyway, I think that we should definitely put it right there that all this information can be seen on Teacher Tanya's website at teachertanyavelasco.com. All right. Did I get that right, Teacher Tanya? That's your
Um,
website, right? Or is it
it's TanyaVelasco.com.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
TanyaVelasco.com. All right. There you go, folks. If you want to learn more about respectful parenting and trusting your children, whether you're a parent, a caregiver, um, a single mom, single parent who is raising their children, please get on to Teacher Tanya's website right here. Let's flash that again, and make sure that you visit her website and also follow her on Instagram. Okay, um, so let's switch gears a little bit, Teacher Tanya. I heard that aside from these seminars and this parenting sessions that you are doing, you are also working as a consultant, right? Tell us about this and what have you been up to in terms of expanding the access of respectful parenting and really teaching the grander public around this issue?
That's true though. One of my advocacy is really to with the limited capacity that I have, I can only reach as much parents that I meet on Instagram or within my circle. Is really my prayer that I'll be able to reach the wider audience, really go to the grassroots, go to the communities, and really, work and help our daycare system. So
Right.
slowly, with little opportunities that are given to me, with my team, we were able to at least give a simple training to daycare workers. We call them childcare workers. Be able to develop content for them. So that's something that I've been doing. It's really if it's really love for country. I always we always tell my team and I would always joke, talagang para sa bayan.
Yes.
When you're a teacher, when you're really, your heart will always be to help the Filipino family. So we try our best to give trainings, develop materials, simple workbooks. So there, if you're working a daycare system, message me. We really want to help you the best way we can. There, so that's something that I really do and I'm very, very passionate about.
That's right. I think it really comes from being a graduate of the University of the Philippines. I think it's in our hearts, and we learn from the get-go that, when you graduate or after you graduate, wherever you are in this part of the world, you need to give back. And I love how you said it, para sa bayan, for the country. I love
Mhm.
it. Yeah. So, when we come back, Teacher Tanya, I'd love for you to share your thoughts on raising children to be patient and to be resilient. All right. So, folks, those of you who are still with us, stay tuned. We'll just take a quick break. And then when we come back, we'll be asking Teacher Tanya in terms of raising your children to be patient and to be resilient. We'll see you in a few minutes. is a live stream platform of online shows for people on the go. Please watch all our shows as seen on the screen. Imagine having your own show, your own playlist, your own content, but we make it easier for you. TNC aims to transform the lives of our viewers through engaging, authentic, and original content. Our vision is to become a global 24 over 7 live stream channel that showcases Filipino talent, global influencers, cultural intelligence, and ingenuity. Please continue to watch Once a Teacher, Always a Teacher on selected Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's 10:30 p.m. Philippines or Manila time. You can also watch live or on replay via Facebook or YouTube. You can also follow us on IG, listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just search hashtag TNC now. For sponsorships, please email now at thenewchannel.com or send us a DM. Enjoy these life changing shows because we made them for you. All right, folks, why don't we bring back Teacher Tanya and then we will continue our conversation on raising children to be patient and resilient. Hi again, Teacher Tanya.
Hi, Teacher Alpha.
All right. So the question is in times like these, right? When parents are feeling so overwhelmed with too many stimulations, such as, electronic devices, all the constant flow of social media, and also maybe in this sort of like geopolitical environment that we are in, can you walk us through, if there's any, like a step by step process of raising kids with patience and with more resilience?
I think there's no formula to that, or I think there's really no step by step process, but I think it's really having a mindset.
Okay.
Um, One of the things I ask the parents who attend my seminar is, what is your vision for your child? And
Mm.
what is your prayer for your child? Because if you know your whys, it will really change how you see your role as a
Mm.
parent. One
Mhm.
of the things that really were influential to me was Dr. Honey Karandang's approach to parenting. And she said that Filipino parents should know why they do the things that they do.
Okay.
um, Dr. Karandang is our national social scientist for psychology. She's
Okay.
really my favorite psychologist. Aside from that, she's the pioneer of play therapy in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I learned from her is that parenting is nation building. And
Mm.
so when I step back and I ask myself, what do I want my children to become?
Mm.
Um, I want them um, to be helping our Filipino. I mean, I want them to help our country in little ways that they can. It's by living out values that are very important um, to our family. So I always reflect as a parent. Why do I do this? And
Mhm.
am I asking too much for my children? So the mindful parenting approach is very related to respectful parenting. It's really being intentional of
Okay.
the things that you do with your children. And and sometimes, so at the end of the day, lalo na nung pandemic, I ask myself, was that meaningful?
Mm.
Or did I just go about my day just to say I did it? No, so as a
Right.
parent, you need to really reflect. And reflecting as a parent will really also affect the way you raise your children. And
Mm.
it has an impact also with your children. Pag nakikita nila na you're reflecting, you're more mindful, it also changes the way they see things. They become more
Mhm.
peaceful, they become more less stressed. As early as infants, when a parent is stressed, more probably the infant will also be stressed.
For
When you
sure.
are more peaceful as a parent, the infant will become more peaceful. They say that the way you touch your infant or your toddler, it releases this um we call it that stress hormone. So the
Mm,
more that you hold your infant slowly, it releases good hormones to your
mm.
infants. So it really starts with your mindset as a parent. And when you know your whys, it will affect the way you parent your children. So that's just my recommendation. Yeah.
It's a really tall order, because as parents, right, we too have too many things in mind, and our minds are like, if you don't have a meditation or mindful practice, it's running all over, nonstop, all the time, right? Any tips, Teacher Tanya, in terms of being a more mindful parent?
One of the things my mentor would always tell me, there is no perfect parent.
Okay,
There
I
is
love
no
it. It's
perfect
so perfect.
parent. And so,
Okay,
because there is no perfect parent, your children would not want a perfect parent as well. So,
okay.
by just hearing that, it levels off my expectations already. You know, before becoming a mom, I was a planner. I had a checklist, like
Mm,
I have a notebook, my things to do. When I became a mom, I had no checklist anymore. So, I've learned to be content with just
mhm,
one thing off my checklist, and that
mhm,
simplifies my life, actually, being a parent. Wow, parang it was a 360-degree turn for me. If what really is basic is what really is simple, di ba? So those are my tips. Find ways where you can really, just find time within your busy day to reflect. I don't know in what way. Some parents would watch a Netflix show. Me,
mm.
I go walking or I read a book, I journal, I pray. So find moments within your day where you can do self care, because that is so important. You will come home or face your children as a better mom, a more rested mom, and a more relaxed mom. So that's my tip. No, find time, no matter how busy it is, an hour, a 30 minute. You know what? A friend of mine would really take time to take a shower, really, in the bathroom for 30 minutes, because that's your self-care. When you become a mom, yung ligo mo, ang bilis.
That's
Wow,
right.
wow, I'm out of the shower already. And then you have a toddler knocking at your door and calling you, right? So, find time within your day to do self-care. Second, find a community, friends, because when you become a mom, especially for first time moms, you just live within a bubble.
Mm,
It's just you and your kids, so it's not going to be healthy for you. So find a support group, whether it's your friends from college, whether it's from church. You need, or it doesn't have to be a lot, maybe one or two people that you can really pour your heart to, and just help me, I'm doing this, I can't figure out, is this the right thing. So me, in my part, I'm very grateful to have a church community, really, friends who can speak the truth in love and tell me things that, hey, Tanya, I think you need to be doing this, or Tanya, I think you've become less patient with your children on this part. So that's just my advice. Two things. Yeah.
that's great. That's wonderful. Any last word that you can share with our viewers? So let's just say if you have this 5 minute inspirational talks to our parents, caregivers, or whatever. What else can you say about respectful parenting and raising children?
I think the pandemic was a reset for us. The past 2 years was a reset for us as parents. It really simplified our life, and that I would quote what Magda Gerber of the RIE parenting would say, of the respectful parenting: observe more, do less, and enjoy more. So as a parent, try to reflect on that. Am I really doing more than what's expected of me? Am I enjoying my children? Am I finding times within the busy day to just be with my children and to just play with them? So observe more, do less, and enjoy more. So thank you, Magda Gerber, for opening my eyes to that wonderful quote. And last one is, um, respectful beginning. Parenting isn't, when you parent with a respectful mindset, you are investing in the future of your children. So keep in mind that if you're a parent of a toddler, of an infant, those are foundational years, and whatever you experience with your children, it will have an impact later on. Actually, lifetime studies would tell you it's really an impact for the lifetime development or well-being of your child. So don't take this first 3 years of their lives for granted. If you can find more time to be with them, do so, because they grow up so fast. So that's just my encouragement.
That's right. And what's next for Teacher Tanya and the world on respectful parenting?
I pray I get to finish my certification. I'd like to say hi to my mentor Ruth, and she's been checking on me. Um, Maybe more seminars. So I'll be doing a seminar on respectful beginning. I also do a seminar for caregivers, or mga tinatawag nating kasambahays or mga yayas. So it's online, but I pray I get to do a face-to-face because I miss doing face-to-face seminars already. What else is in store for me? I do IG live every once a month. So we
Nice.
call it Mom Kada session. So I interview different friends of mine who are moms also. So watch out for that. So just check my Instagram for more seminars. But right now, that's just what on my plate, because I'm also a full-time mom. So my priority are my kids. So this is just something I do on the side. So there. And
That's
also my husband. My priority is also my husband. Baka humirit siya mamaya. Okay.
yeah, you can't forget him, right? yeah, it's
I always tell
Mhm.
parents I'm a better mom because I have a very supportive husband. So, yeah. So you need a teammate, really a teammate to help you um, uh, live out this approach. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe in that, Teacher Tanya. It's a real teamwork when it comes to parenting. And you got to be on the same page, just like what you said earlier. Kumbaga, walang konsentidor. And if there are and if there are other people involved in raising children, like lolo, lola, grandparents, and yayas, everybody has to be on the same page in terms of the expectations and how you want to raise your children, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Teacher Tanya, the time went by so quickly. And let's see if there are any comments right here or any questions that we may be able to answer. So far, no questions in terms of parenting. All right. Well, I got to tell everybody, folks, everyone who's listening, you have to follow Teacher Tanya on Instagram because she posts a lot of great information regarding raising children. I got to check out Dr. Karandang's information. And I've never heard of Dr. Karandang until Teacher Tanya mentioned that. And also the RIE, correct? RIE?
Yeah. If you want to know more about Dr. Karanda, you can check out mlac.com. It's MLAC. They do a lot of play therapies, working with families. So just check them out. RIE.org. It's an international organization for respectful parenting. It's a worldwide organization. So they also do a lot of seminars and webinars online. So there.
Awesome. And you know what I look forward on your work, Teacher Tanya, is your expansion on your training to the local public daycare centers across the Philippines, and really teaching our caregivers and maybe parents who may have limited access to this sort of knowledge. Um, yeah, I know that you mentioned about a certain department in the Philippines, right? That you're working as a policy consultant and things like that. Um, so, yeah, I am wishing you well in terms of that endeavor.
Thank you, Teacher Alpha.
All right. With that, Teacher Tanya, thank you very much for being with us. And we'll see you on Instagram. We'll see you in Manila, hopefully one of these days.
Sure. Good night. Thank you so much.
Good night, everybody. Bye, everyone.